Let's talk about each of these macronutrients briefly. We'll go into these in much more detail in chapters 5, 6, and 7, but I just want to cover them a little bit as we'll begin talking about them in each of our classes. Carbohydrates are molecules that are composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. We get carbohydrates mostly from fruits, vegetables, grains, and beans. Beans, dried beans, legumes, things like that. Carbs provide 4 calories for every gram. They can be broken down into two categories, into simple and complex. Small carbohydrate molecules are called simple sugars, like table sugar and blood sugar. They're simple molecules, not important right now whether it's glucose, fructose, or galactose, but note in the picture, it's just two molecules that are connected. So again, I'm not expecting you to understand really what each of those mean, but understand that they're simply two molecules connected, and that's considered a simple sugar or simple carbohydrate. In contrast, on the right-hand side, we have complex carbohydrates that are bigger, more bulkier molecules. They are a lot of smaller carbohydrate molecules that are bound together. These are starches in our food, glycogen that's stored in your muscles, and fiber that is the structure of plants. We don't get energy or calories from fiber, but it is a carbohydrate structure. So some of our more complex carbohydrates come from fruits and vegetables and from whole grain foods. Lipids, or fat molecules, are also composed of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. Triglycerides, a triglyceride is three glycerol molecules bound to a fatty acid molecule. Triglycerides are the form of fat that you find in your food. This provides one of our major energy sources with 9 calories provided for every gram of fat. In comparison to carbohydrate, we had 4 calories for every gram. Fat, we have 9. There are two different kinds. Saturated are solid at room temperature. We get them mainly from animal sources. A standard American diet, pretty rich in these saturated fats. These can be more damaging to our arteries for our heart health. Then we have unsaturated fats, are liquid at room temperature. We mainly get these from plant sources, and we want to be focusing more on these in making dietary choices. We can further break down our unsaturated fats in the diet to those that are essential, and then we also have trans fatty acids. So essential fats are, again, we talked about essential before. Essential means we have to get it in our diet. They are important in the structure of our cells. They help to regulate blood pressure, nerve transmission. They have an impact on inflammation in the body. They can have an impact on everything. All disease conditions can be related to inflammation. And we get some of these essential fats from fish, nuts and seeds, and some kinds of oils. Trans fats are an unsaturated fat. It starts out unsaturated in a liquid form that's been processed to make it more solid at room temperature. So trans fats are tied to increased health risks. So we definitely want to minimize those in our diet. They're not essential. We don't need to consume them. It's really better to try to avoid them. Some places we get those in our diet, deep fried foods, baked goods, some of our sources of trans fats. Proteins, also composed of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen, but it also contains nitrogen. Proteins are made up by the bonding of amino acids. They provide structure of the body, bones, muscles, blood, cell membranes, enzymes, immune factors. Proteins provide 4 calories per gram, same as carbohydrates. And we get proteins from animals, for one, meat, fish, eggs, dairy, but also from plant sources, beans, again, those legumes, dried beans, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, things like that. Soy products, nuts and seeds. Even some fruits and vegetables can have a little bit of protein, though not necessarily adequate. So we can look at just calories, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, but of course that's not nearly enough information. So we want to use tools to help people understand that there's a multitude of nutrients that we can get from each of these food groups. And this is one image to give you a picture of why you should eat a variety of food groups and a variety within each of those food groups, because you can see there's different nutrients that we get from each of those. Another way we can expand on this is to help people eat by color. So thinking about greens and oranges, reds, purples, and blues. Different colors also tell us that foods have different nutrients in them, and certainly that they're very rich in nutrients. So there's a lot of different ways we can start helping people to understand what are ways to approach nutrition and how can we create a diverse diet that's going to be highly nutritious.